I was muted. Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. We're working on fresh spots. It's Friday. And Sunny with the Prime, thank you very much, says, you are so much for me. Basically a role model in any sense. Oh, you're too kind. So you got a full stack dev role? Hey, it wasn't just because of me. You did the hard work. But congrats on that, Sunny. Yeah, welcome in, everyone. Excuse me, I just drank a whole lot of yerba mate, so I'm burping. But welcome in, glad to have you. And welcome in Kimla for the first time, very cool. And Ijuka with that Prime sub as well, thank you. And I think Smith gave me bits yesterday when I wasn't streaming, so that's cool. Thank you, Smith, for the bits yesterday. Your message is that way because you're not following the channel, or you've been following the channel for less than 30 minutes. But yeah, welcome in. It's Friday. And today we're going to work on Fresh Spots, which is a Deno full stack app. So essentially this app allows users to create and share lists of places to visit. I say allows. It will allow this. We don't really have any features yet. But the idea is you can sign up, you can then create a list, and then you can add a bunch of places to that list. So for instance, you could create a list of the top 10 pizza restaurants in your city or something like that. And then you can take that list and share it with someone. Shebas, you're too kind. Thank you for the 5 gifted. I appreciate that. But yeah, so we're using Deno, which is a modern runtime for JavaScript and TypeScript. So this is our JavaScript runtime. We're using this framework called Fresh, which is a server-side rendered Preact-based framework that works inside of Deno. So we're using that. And then we're using this auth library that I wrote, which is a simple wrapper around this auth client library, but that lets us log and do social auth. It's pretty much the app, and we're also using this library called Keysly, which lets us interact with the
cheer
database.
100, cheer 100, cheer 100, cheer 100. Let's have fun today.
Thank you, Stony Eagle. You know, I probably could skip over the emotes in the TTS, but I think it's funny. But thank you for the bits, Stony Eagle. Yeah. Glad to hear it. It's not DG who says they're learning TypeScript. Very cool. Oh, and you tuned into my my music stream last night. So I have a side project, a music side project called Probably Happening. And It's Not DG was there last night. So if you want to follow, we're live every Monday and Thursday. So that's the app. Today, the plan is to get some actual features. So we've been working on, this is going to be our 7th live stream working on this app. And so far, there's been a whole lot of configuration and also a whole lot of just figuring out the Deno ecosystem and how all of that stuff works in Fresh. And so it's been a lot of just exploration and setup. Today, I want to work on some real features. I'm actually in the middle of a cleanup of moving some dependencies. But I want to get some actual work done. So I want to finish login. I want to make sure login works well. After a user logs in, I want to be able to show their user icon up in the navbar here. So we're going to work on that today. That's going to be one of the first things. Get the user to log in and then show their user icon there in the navbar. Do you have your landing page proposal? Yeah, yep. I don't know if I'll work on this today, but I will say I'd like it. So Paolo added this homepage idea. They added some more stuff. Let's take a look. Whoa, that's a cool animation. So you load the page, fresh spots. Yeah, that's awesome. And then you would do the login with Discord. That's pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about a full page map. And here's the reason why. Right now, we have no way of showing all of the lists that have been created on the map. Eventually we will. I like this idea. I'm gonna keep this pull request open because I think eventually once we have more features and such, it would make sense to have a homepage like this. But right now, I don't think it makes as much sense because there's nothing on the map. It's true, Mark, but for real this time, we're gonna get the user logging in. We're gonna show their icon, and then we're gonna let them create at least one list. And thank you, Coding Garden fan. I appreciate that. Shibas says, I was rewatching the series from the beginning. On the first stream, you said, I don't want this to be a long series. It should be done in one stream. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way things go. The thing is, specifically, building a full stack app with maps is something that I do want to do in one stream. Because that's the kind of content that does really well on YouTube. This has turned into an exploration of the Deno ecosystem, which is a whole different thing, but we've settled into the idea that, yeah, we're figuring things out. We're getting things working in Deno. And Mooley, thank you for that sub. Appreciate that. So, you know. You binge them like a TV show? I appreciate that. Chat RAM usage? No, I won't. I mean, my computer is at 61% RAM right now. Are you sending messages that have a bunch of nested elements? Is that what you're doing? So yeah, and then user is logged in. They see the logo and the map. Has the markers. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. I'm gonna keep this open, but we won't. I don't think we're gonna work on that today. Because the other thing I'll need to do is I'll need to modify the data model so that each list includes like a center coordinate, so that I can have an icon that represents the list, and then when you click on it, all of the spots associated with it now appear on the map as well. And basically that will just be like the center location of all of the spots you add. But we're so far away from that. So yeah, that's the thing. All right, I do have a hard stop today. I have to be done. I have to be done at, I don't know why I'm showing you the calendar, but at 2:30 p.m. my time. So technically in 2.5 hours. So we're going to say hello to everyone, and then we're just going to get right into it because I do have to go exactly at 2:30. But Kadeen, hello. You found me from an old vid using an undocumented APIs. Nice. Thanks for being here. Do I think it's a good idea to go back to a job you were before because the new one sucks? It depends. Like, if you know the old job is going to take you back and it's like a comparable salary, sure. But it's tricky. There's so many things I would need to know about the situation and the jobs, like the employer, it's tricky. It's tricky. Okay. This is funny. Be a penetration tester. 7 signs you could be an excellent penetration tester. Yeah, Oscar has been messing with my overlays. But, no, Kappa. Alright, let's say hi to everyone. We will do no more than 1 minute of hellos starting right now. If you want to say hello, just say hello. Welcome in, Mark, first person to say hello. What's up, the Shibas and Cesar and Baba Dev and Phoenix Rising and Klaus Dev and Code Looper and Chiansa and Soy Mister and Sahuludin, welcome. Shiham Sam, welcome in, and Becken and Pablo and Shark Turn Up and CZ, what's up, Pab Blip and Copsmon and Opmain and Sunny and Stony Eagle and No Existence and The Low and Shakib and Code with Sarah, what's up, Daddy Ray, and David and Julian and Irene and Percy and Ed and Slowly Raking and Arrow Codes and Bozabit and GTC and It's Not DG and Nikki Poo and Oscar and Sir Davos and Dark Coder and Kadeen and Black Claw and MD Subuntu and Nefine and Kulfon and Noctum and Residential Sleeper and Colony and Yoshi and Veeb. Welcome in, everyone. Glad to see you. And Coding Garden fan. Hey, what's up? Look, Jerry and Tanner and is Wazel? Welcome in. And Make It Pies, glad to have you. And Dinky Dolphin, glad to have you as well. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, let's just spin up the app. Because I'm on this branch, move import maps to a dependencies file, and honestly, I don't want to finish doing that right now. And thank you, VantaDev. Thank you for the focus mode. We're going to go into focus mode, and let's just get the app. It's features day. It is. So we're going to. I'm actually going to merge this into main, and then we'll just finish it later, because I know there are pieces that would create a lot of merge conflicts if we just kept coding. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to add my changes to the README. Sparkles book. We're going to take a quick stretch. And a little freezy. What's up? Welcome in. Update README. I'm going to push this branch up, move import map to dependencies, and then I'm going to merge this pull request on GitHub, but I'm going to do a squash merge so that multiple commits show up as a single commit. This is a separate branch. I pushed it up. I'm going to make a pull request against main. Technically, I could just push this directly to main, but right now I have these two commits, and I want it to appear as one commit on the main branch. And I just remembered Oscar made a pull request. Is this going to affect your pull request, Oscar? Oh, man. Oh, man. Regardless, I'm gonna merge it. But on GitHub, you can actually click this and do squash and merge. And so basically, it'll take these two commits and make them a single commit. I think I'll do, when I do this, it'll give me an option to format it. So I'm going to do this. I'll say work in progress, update, deps. It looks good to me. Thanks, Oscar. It's funny how that commit just showed up instantly. Update deps and update readme. So confirm squash, merge. Great. And then you usually want to keep your branches clean, so just delete that branch because it doesn't need to exist anymore because we merged it in. Let's see if there is a merge conflict. There is. These should be pretty easy to fix, Oscar, if you want to fix these. But Oscar made a really a nice commit. It's basically just a refactor. They took some of the functions and things we defined in one file, pulled them into a utils file, and it really cleaned things up. So I was going to merge this in. I'm putting the onus on Oscar. It's Oscar's job to fix the merge conflict because it's my repo. I'm in charge of it. Okay, now I'm going to check out main, and then if I do git pull origin main, that should pull in all the latest changes to my main branch. Wow, lots of stuff. Okay, now I need to start up Docker because that's where our database is running. So I'll start up Docker, and then once Docker is up and going, we'll start the Docker compose, which should start up our Postgres database. Oh, I've never heard it as let's get this merged. I've always heard it as looks good to me. That's funny. Let's get this merged. That's funny. Welcome in, Kava. It is Friday. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what we were working on last time. Basically, there's a way of doing an import map, which basically you have a JSON file which describes all of your dependencies, and then you can import with these names. But that breaks certain things, and we also wanted to be able to use a tool that could automatically look at all of our dependencies. So we were migrating to a single file that exports those dependencies, but it's a process because literally everywhere those dependencies are referenced, we need to update their imports and such. So that's the thing that we're putting on the back burner for now. All right, Docker started up. Let me make sure there's no other Docker containers running. Stop. Cool. And then from this directory, if I do a Docker compose up, that should start the database container. Good. And then if I do Deno task run, Deno task start, that should start our Deno app. It connects to the database. We can go here. If I do login with Discord, that still seems to work. We get redirected back to our app. A signed cookie was set. Great. The first thing I want to do is set up cookie sessions. So if you look in the code, we started trying to use this library. Encoding tomato, thank you for that prime. Yeah, my air conditioner's on and my fans on my laptop are going. I guess I could go turn my AC off. I want to write code though. Let me figure out where we're going to be coding and then I'll be gone for like a minute to turn my AC off. All right. In my specific route on this callback right here. So this is what happens after you log in. This is where we're setting the cookie. Cookies! Yeah, we're setting the cookie. And we tried to use these libraries, request cookie store and signed cookie store. We specifically got these libraries from Deno land. They seem pretty good, but they're a little cumbersome to work with. And so Oscar, the person that made that other pull request, made a library that makes it really easy to create signed cookies. So we're actually going to use that library instead. And so, yeah, here's Oscar. Something, I made a library called Squishy Cookies. But what's nice is this is all the code that's required. Create a signed cookie, and then I can take that signed cookie and put it into the response. So we are going to use this library. Looks good to me. All right. I mean, the AC just did just turn off. I will be back in 1 minute. In the meantime, enjoy this music. Hello, I'm back. There should be less background noise. You still might hear my computer fan every now and then. Okay, this is the library that I want to use, and it is hosted on deno.land. So deno.land is where you can post or you can publish Deno packages. So specifically, this I believe is what I want to import. Man, Denoland has changed like twice since we started working on this app, and they used to give you like the exact URL that you could import, and then they don't anymore because I specifically want to import from here, like this. Okay, so I have the URL. I'm gonna put it in my dependencies file. So if I go over here to deps.ts, I'm going to add another export. So I'll say export star as squishy cookies from that specific URL. Like that. So now we have squishy cookies and we can use it. And then now over here in the auth callback, we will import this in instead of request cookie store and signed cookie store. So I'm just going to import squishy cookies from, do I already have a deps import? I guess I don't. So squishy cookies from, go up. Oh, no, we can do, I forgot, we have aliases. So we could do @/deps. Can't we? .ts. I forgot. I've been writing a lot of not Deno code, and I forgot that you have to always put the file extension when you're importing as well. Can I export specific functions? And awaited 27 months. That's a long time. Thank you very much for the resub. I see what you're saying, Oscar. Like, I could import just those methods. I'm going to import the whole library, because otherwise I have specific functions and overall libraries from this file. So I'm going to import the whole library and then just do like dot notation. Can't I do that? Squishy cookies dot. Yeah. And then I should get access to those two. Create signed cookie and verify signed cookie are the ones that I want. So I can go back and look at your docs. Create signed cookie gives us back the headers and the specific cookie. All right, here we go. Here we go. So right about here where we were doing all of this stuff. We can say squishy cookies dot create signed cookie. What does it want? It wants the cookie name. The name of it is just ID. And then the cookie value is going to be ID, which is the specific value that we got back from the database. That's the user that has just signed in. And then it wants our secret, which I am going to, for now, just hard code. But in a second, we'll pull it into our .env. So I want my secret right here. And then it also wants my cookie options. And these are all the things I wanted to set in my cookie options. So the path should be /. It should be HTTP only. Apparently, okay, I can't. I was like, hey. So that'll do strict. And then I want it to be secure, and I want it to have a max age. Let's see. Nice. We get no type error, which means that Oscar's library allows us to do this. Wait, is squishy cookies something I don't know about? Does that have some weird connotation? Okay, so this creates the signed cookie, and then this gives me back a promise that will have the headers and the specific cookie. Headers and cookie. So we'll await that. Cool. Now at this point, we want to apply those headers to the response. Really, this is kind of what I want to do right here. So if there was an ID, that means the user just logged in and we found them. And I kind of just want to return a new empty response that is a redirect. And then can I do something like spread all of the headers in here? It's not complaining. So basically, squishy cookies gives me back the specific set cookie header. And then I can specify it there. And then do I even need this cookie? I guess I could do it separately. Yeah, so I could do set cookie. Yeah. So this should be fine. I guess technically I could also do like set cookie, and this is like headers.get. Oh no, and then I could just literally put it as the cookie, like that. And then I don't need to pull the headers out. I like that better, because that should be the only thing that we're doing. And then that gets returned. Yeah, so we're just going to pull the cookie out, put it back on here. Now, where that other library would have helped is, I believe, if we have multiple cookies that we're trying to set. In this scenario, we're only setting one cookie, so this is all we need. But if there's a scenario where we have multiple set cookies, that's where we would need to merge them, which is why we would want like a cookie store. This is fine for now, though. So if we had an ID, we do all this good stuff. If not, we need to just do response.redirect with config.base URL. So if they didn't log in, just redirect them to the home page without setting a cookie. I guess technically we have an error page now. I forgot last time we set up the error page, so we could redirect them to the error page. But this is fine. That's all I want. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the existing cookies. So if we go to storage, cookies, we've got all this stuff. Just delete them all. Seems to be running fine. Let's try to log in. Good. Authorize. We now have an ID cookie, and it specifically has a value. So the way that, and this is how I've seen signed cookies work in the past. Basically, they have the value followed by some signature. And then when those cookies are sent to the server, we need to read this cookie in and then verify that this signature was set using our specific secret. So this is great. This is awesome. And it has all of the things that we want. It worked. Yeah. So we want, we have the domain, the path is / it expires in 1 day, 24 hours. It is HTTP only. Secure is false because we're in development, and it is set to same site strict. Heck yeah. First try. That's awesome. Now I can delete all of this this code because we're not using that library anymore. So that's great. So step 1, set the cookie. Step 2 is parse that cookie on every incoming request. And for that, we need a middleware. Essentially, the middleware will look at every incoming request, and if it sees an ID cookie, it will then attempt to validate it. And if it was valid, we could do something like a database lookup and put the user on the incoming request object. So at that point, let's go look at the fresh documentation and see if they have anything about middlewares. Route middleware. A middleware is defined in an underscore middleware file. It will intercept the request in order for you to perform custom logic. That's what we want. So each middleware gets passed a next function. Yeah. Middlewares are scoped and can be layered. This means a project can have multiple middlewares, each covering a different set of routes. Yeah, so this is kind of what I'm worried about. So I want to put it at the root of my routes so that it runs for every other request. So if we make a request to admin, is this saying that this middleware is going to run as well? Yeah, it is. That's what I like to see that. Okay, so let's create ourselves a middleware.ts file in our routes folder. Right here, new file, middlewares.ts. Awesome. That is going to look something like this. Here we go. And yeah, you'll see exactly what we're doing, Moshiko. And hello, Moshiko. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you. But that's basically what we're going to do right here. We are going to look at the incoming cookie. We'll probably create some other interface, but... yeah, and then state will have a user on it, and this will be of type user table. We specifically can get import that from @/db/ oh goodness @/db / tables user table, like that. And then this is optional. So essentially, if we validate the cookie, we'll then do a DB lookup and put the user right on the context. But if the cookie isn't there or it's not valid, we won't look up and find that user. Okay, so here comes the magic. So we can grab the cookie header so say request.headers.get cookie. Let's take a quick stretch. Yeah, so after I code this out, I'll explain what exactly is happening. So that should help you out, Moshiko, with the understanding. Okay, so let's grab that cookie header. This will be a string. Now we need a cookie parser. I need the entire header. All right, let's look at here. We have the verify signed cookie. I see, you pass the entire headers in. Awesome. So using this squishy cookies library, so let's import squishy cookies. Squishy cookies from dependencies. Awesome. And so now we can do squishy cookies.verify signed cookie. We'll do request.headers. We're specifically looking for the ID cookie, and we're going to validate it using this secret. After I get this working, I'm going to pull this into my config. But for now, we'll do it the way we did it earlier, where we say, I think I did like keyboard cat. So this secret needs to match the same secret that I use whenever I set the cookie, because that's how we're validating it. We're going to validate that the cookie was set using this exact same secret. And that's why, I don't know what I want to say about that, but this is very secret. If someone has this secret, they can create fake cookies. So protect this with your life and don't use keyboard cat. All right, verify the signed cookie. I'm looking for that ID cookie, and this should give me back the user ID. I guess user ID is false if the verification failed or the cookie value. Cool. So we should be good. So I can just say like, and this is telling me this is either going to be a string or false. That's cool. So this won't throw an exception if it's not valid. So I'll just say if user ID was found, then to do, look up user with ID attached to request. Awesome. We don't need to set any custom headers. And then I think we can just do context.next like that. So look at the headers, try to get it. If we got it, do something with it. And right now I'll just look, got user ID, pass that in like this. Okay, no errors there. All I should have to do is refresh the page, because when I refresh the page, the browser is going to send that cookie along with the request like that. And we got it. And you can see that that middleware ran 3 times. That's curious. I guess let's see how many requests were made to my backend. Yeah, so there's a request for the home page. That's one request. That included the cookie. There's another request for that refresh.js thing. That didn't go to my server. That went to GitHub. And yeah. So basically every request that came into my backend, and including the request for the favicon, looked at it, had the cookie, so we were able to parse it. So static file pathing setup after routes. Yeah, and in this case, I don't necessarily want to return a 401. I'm going to return a 401 on specific pages. So this middleware will simply parse the incoming cookie, set it on the context, and then for any route that needs authorization logic, like you must be logged in or whatever else, that's where I'll throw a 401 if that page is trying to load. So this one is just handling that. Yeah, and so I'm curious, like we probably could look at the incoming incoming request, and if the request is for like static assets, then don't do this. I mean, that's more of an optimization though, because you probably don't want to do a DB lookup to find the user when they're just requesting like the favicon. So honestly, I think what this middleware will do is it will actually set user ID on the state, and then it'll be the job of some other route to actually do the DB lookup if they need it. So if the user ID is a thing, then we'll say context dot user ID is user ID. Context dot data dot user ID is that. I think. How did they do it earlier? We need to look at their middleware example. I don't know if I have any specific static files, but I know that Deno, yeah, I mean, it's serving up this stuff. So yeah. Context.state. That's what I want. So context.state.userid is user ID. Cool. This little interface here, I actually want to define in a general place because now everywhere I'm accessing the context, I need to know that there is a user ID property on it. So over here in my, I think I have an interfaces folder. I have a schemas folder. Yeah, I'll create it here. So let's call this state. And then we'll export it here. Now, technically, I could define this with Zod. I don't know if we're going to be doing any validating, though. This should be good enough for now. And then I'll just import that in here. Not that. Import state from @ schemas / state.ts, like that. Cool. So that should be good to go. Why is this complaining? I need to add a default export. Cool. And then I think I will have basically like a before render function here on the home page, and the home page will say if user ID is on the state, do the database lookup, and then that can put it on the props, and then my home page will have like a user object that it can pass down to the layout so that it could show it on the navbar. Okay, so we'll go back to the fresh docs. There is a way. So yeah, you can have like a basic page that gets routed like this, but you also can basically have, think of it like get server-side props like you would have in Next. Like this. And that will exist right above it. And I mean, this really is just another form of a middleware, right? So this middleware runs first to check the cookie, and then this middleware runs right before it decides to render this component here. We do need to bring in handlers from here. And then I believe I'm going to have to type that manually, because if I do context.state, yeah, right now it doesn't know about user ID, so I need to specifically tell it that we're going to have that. So handlers takes in T of any. What's the first type on handlers? Yeah, so in this case, it actually will be user, because I'm going to be returning a user object. So this is going to be the user table, which we'll import, and then the second parameter is state. Yeah, so thank you for that, NFG Codex. This is basically what I am rendering here. All of this will need to change. So user table or null, and then I'll add the import for both of these. So we need to bring in this state like that, and then we need to bring in the user table. db tables user table, like that. So this handler will either respond with the user table or null, meaning if like they're not logged in or we can't find the user, it'll respond with null. And then now that I've typed state, I should get access to context.state.user ID, like that. So we'll wrap this in an if statement. So if there was a user ID, then we need to do the database lookup. So I'm going to import db from @/db/db.ts. So this is our specific database connected instance that'll let us do the querying. So I could say user is await db dot let me make sure I've imported that right. So how do we use the db? Await dbts. Select from. Yeah, you're totally right in NFG Codex. Like, we probably want to specify an interface that only has the properties that we want to return, but there isn't anything secret on this user. Like, there's no password. It just has the social profile on it. So we might we might have to create like a DTO or a DAO. Really curious why I'm not getting any autocomplete. I'm going to reload this window. TypeScript is bugging out. Is that ESLint? No, I think I have ESLint disabled in my workspace settings. Yeah, so ESLint is disabled. I guess technically, is there a context we can import here? Just a second, though. db dot db dot, not that, db dot, huh. I'm just going to write the code, but I'm perplexed as to why I am not getting any type completion. Because it's going to look like this. So pull from the user table, select everything where user ID or ID is equal to context.state.user_ID, and then execute that, get the first one, and then if you got it, return it with the user. Otherwise, we'll return context.render with null, so there's no user object there. This should be fine, and then now we actually do get access to, or we should get access to the user object. Yeah, so it's page props of that type. Data specifically will be user. So page props, did it import that in from somewhere? It didn't. Where does page props come from? Same place as handlers. So handlers and page props. Yeah, I agree, NFG Codex. Like, when you're working with a new library, like sometimes, like the guide is fine, but the guide is just surface level. Sometimes you want to dig into the API docs, and they don't seem to have that, but maybe they will eventually. Okay, this specifically gives us back data, and then we're going to use that right here. I'm just going to do a little pre-tag, and right here we're going to do JSON.stringify with that data. So we got it back. We should see a nice little JSON object of the user data. Let's see what happens. It runs fine. Refresh the page. Null. Was omitted because of a cross-site redirect. That's fine because the cookie should still be there. Let's see. Let's log context.state for this incoming request. Empty object. If we look, is the cookie still there? Yeah, the cookie is still there. It's for the domain localhost. So is our middleware not running when this page runs? So middleware is there. Let's just log cookie middleware. Cookie verify middleware. If I refresh this page. Yeah, so the cookie verify middleware runs, and then the get handler for the page runs. Let's log this user ID here. Yeah, so we are getting it. We're getting that user ID. Oh! The first request for the actual page itself does not include the cookie. Let's log request.url, so what they're making the request to. So we're requesting the home page. We verify the cookie. It's not being sent. And then we render the home page. But then whenever we request this item, these three items, we do include the cookie. So is the cookie that we're setting, is it too restrictive? Like here I have path slash. Let's try setting it without that. I don't know why that would do it though. Path star? Oh, I see. Yeah, because if I don't put path slash, it sets the path as the page that was actually setting the cookie itself. So we do want slash. I don't know why Firefox is saying that's a cross-domain cookie, because we're setting it on localhost. Because of a cross-site redirect. Let's see. Let's delete both of those. Refresh the page. Yeah, the slash is inherent because we can see that incoming request URL is slash. Let's try setting this cookie again. Hey. Yeah, cookie ID with same site attribute value lax or strict was omitted because of a cross-site redirect. So it actually has to do with this. How is that a cross-site redirect though? Because when you click authorize, that we get redirected back to localhost 8000, and then localhost 8000 is the one setting the cookie. What are our other options here? Yeah, so I think this will solve it. So if we comment this out, and then we set the cookie. Then that is working, because now it tried to call the database. Okay. I don't know enough about cookies and same site issues to know why this is the case. Why can't we set the cookie after a redirect? Okay, but now the cookie is being set. Now this is getting called, and I really hate we don't have autocomplete. So it's all port 8000. All right, I'll read this one Stack Overflow, but then no one else try to help, because I'm not going to worry about it right now. Same site strict means that if a user has been redirected or just clicked on a link to your site, cookies shouldn't be sent. And redirecting is like chaining requests. So if your server redirects to another and this server redirects back to 300, cookie will be sent because your server is on top of this chain. However, if you redirect to an OAuth provider, the user has to allow their, yeah. Oh, okay. So basically it says the workaround is I need a landing page that will set that cookie. I need to redirect them back to a landing page that says like continue to site, because now it's a user action that sets that cookie. Okay. Cool. Good to know. Yeah. I think there's like a select all. I really wish I had autocomplete. Invalid input to integer. Oh. Oscar? Do I have to manually split this on period? What's up, Terawatt? We're getting login working. Oscar. Because this gives me back the parsed cookie that has the signed value on it. Yeah, so just to clarify. So when I say verify signed cookie, that will give me back the cookie with the signed portion on it. I think I do need to split it on period and grab the first one to get the actual value. Split on period, grab the first one. What does this want? User ID is not undefined. Okay, so this is string or false. Really, I'll just do a toString here. You're totally right. I'm doing all of this is wrong. Okay. But would you confirm that, Oscar? Like, there's no way to get the value without the signature on it. I need to specifically split it on a period. Yeah. Okay. Ta-da! We have a user. That took us a while to get there, but the middleware runs, grabs that cookie, and then the other things have access to that. So let me stop all of this logging. And I really want to figure out why I'm not getting autocomplete. This is so lame. Let me like maybe try reloading Deno. Yeah, you might be right. I might need to actually like go in there and make sure that TypeScript is actually loading. Would it make sense to add this TypeScript extension? This says this uses the nightly version of TypeScript. All you TypeScript devs out there, do you use this? Or do you just use the one in the workspace? I guess technically Deno would handle this, wouldn't it? No? Okay, only use that when you run into an issue on upstream. Great. Can we look at the output for Deno? Deno language server. Yeah, I don't think I'll have to do that with Deno. I mean, at least we haven't had to do that in... Oh, there is a TypeScript thing. TypeScript exited. What's up, Alka? Welcome in. The Pikachu, Starting TS server. Great. Forking. Starting. Forking. Killing. Starting. Using. Forking. Starting. Forking. Starting. And then it exits. Hey, thank you, Curry Bacon. I appreciate that. TypeScript server exited. So here's the thing. We do get some autocomplete. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we do. Because if I do context dot, we're getting autocomplete. So like TypeScript is working in some ways, but for whatever reason, it can't figure out what this type is. Resolved dependency, app_db_db, and it just says import. It doesn't say like what it is. It usually, when you hover it, you would see what that type is. So let's look at that db export. Export default db get instance. So this returns a type of Keasley DB schema. Can I do that? So now it is exporting a Keasley DB schema. And now it knows, yeah, that's really weird that I don't know why I'm stuttering, but it's really weird that it couldn't infer the type from there. Import suggestions? DB. Well, it knows the type now. It is Keasley DB schema. Debug failure. False expression. Well. It's true, Druid. Fork it, kill it, start it, kill it. Techno. Import suggestions. Is this like another extension? I think you're totally right. I think there is a later Deno version I need to install. Version 1.25.1. What version am I on right now? 1.24.1? Let's try upgrading. All right, I'm going to kill VS Code, and then we're going to upgrade Deno. You know what? Yeah, I mean, that might be it, V, but setting up that dependencies file, like, really messed with Deno autocomplete. Yeah, this is nice that we can literally just upgrade it. Should be good to go. But you might be totally right. Like, after I started setting up all those dependencies, now Deno's having a really hard time figuring out how to do, like, autocomplete. Yeah, I know you can reload window or restart, but I like to just kill it, close the entire thing. Oh, apparently VS Code had an update as well. Well, everything's updating. Okay. db dot db as Keasley, and then that imports it from there. Let's look at what our db thing is importing. So it's importing Keasley from @/dependencies. This is the one thing that might actually mess it up. So let's import it directly and see if we get autocomplete from there. Here. So if we import Keasley from here, see if that fixes it. Get rid of that. db dot, yeah. So the thing that we were working on last time, moving everything to that dependencies file, has seriously broken our autocomplete. Yeah, I'll show you my dependencies file. So basically, maybe I was importing wrong, but we have export star as Keasley from here. Okay? And then I mean, I know that it works because the DB lookup works. It's an issue of like Deno and TypeScript working together. Because I could do import Keasley from @/dependencies.ts. And then Keasley, does it have a type? Type of Keasley.Keasley. Oh, do I need to import these as types? Import star as Keasley in the same file? You mean right here? Oh yeah. I already did that. This works. Directly importing it will give me autocomplete. I already figured that out. I guess destructuring these types is probably what killed it. I think I need to actually do Keasley dot like this. I think this is the issue. I need to, everywhere that I'm referencing these types, I should reference it from the import, because otherwise it doesn't know how to specifically destructure a type. I think that is the issue. So let's save that. Yeah, and like when we were working on dependencies, that's what we ran into. Is like, yeah, you don't want to destructure a type. You need to specifically use that type. But now, yeah, that was it. That was our main issue. I was destructuring these types, so TypeScript didn't know how to use those types because they were destructured. Okay, we could run into this same issue in other places in our code, but we'll just have to fix the import to make sure that we're specifically using the type. And now I should be able to go back to export default like this. And then over here, db.select from. Cool, that's what I want to see. Select from user. Select all. Yeah, beautiful. Import star as x is different than import Keasley from. Oh, I know, but it's exported here. So I'm exporting everything as Keasley, and then I'm importing Keasley over here. But I think that's another issue, is like, I don't want to destructure them here because now I have one file that's exporting not just the libraries, but all of the dependencies from those libraries as well. And to me, that seems a little bit messier than just being able to import one specific library and then using it. Yeah, import type. Yeah. Yeah. Right? I don't know. I mean, this is working for me for now. If you can think of a better way, feel free to make a pull request. But it's really the relationship between this file and then anywhere that needs to use those dependencies. Import like that. The whole thing in brackets? Not those. Curly braces? Oh, like this. I see. Okay, so import Keasley, export Keasley, and then over here, if I do import Keasley, but yeah, I still can't destructure the types. So like the type that I want is like capital K Keasley. Like that. Import type capital K Keasley from Keasley? Can I do that? Yeah, it wants the specific dependency. That's the issue here, is like I can't import it or destructure it from that one thing being exported here. Right? I'll give Terawatt a second in case they want to add anything. But otherwise I'm done. I don't want to work on this anymore because this is just import stuff. Because I guess the other thing I could do is say like export, and then here we specify capital K Keasley and like all the other things that I need. But now, anywhere I need them, I'm importing these from deps, and these are specific to Keasley, and I don't want to mix exports from everything else with that. Yeah. Why do I destructure it in the import all, and put an alias? So could I do like this? So pull in Keasley, and then export a type thing as Keasley? Something like this? Like import the things that I want, and then export a specific named type that has those imports on it. Postgres introspector, Postgres adapter. These are the other things I want. So import Keasley, Postgres introspector, Postgres adapter from here. Okay. Okay, so I've imported them. Duplicate identifier Keasley? What are you talking about? It's true, Mark. What if we just didn't have any external libraries? Well, then we'd have to write everything ourselves. Okay, so we have import that from here, and then I want to export all of this stuff as a specific type. So you have to understand that we are in ECMAScript modules. We are not working with I don't even know what to call them, but basically this isn't Webpack. Webpack does some really weird stuff to make it so that you can do imports and exports like this, but this is following the standard for ECMAScript modules, which doesn't let you do all the things that like Webpack imports and exports would do. Yeah, ESM versus common JS, but not even. It's more than that, right? Oh, I guess so. Yeah, because common JS would be what like Webpack stuff does, and these are ECMAScript modules. So I'm gonna stop worrying about this because this is not. Oh, that's why that added that there. Yeah, but that's the thing is like, and that's what is also confusing about common JS is when you do named imports, like that is not destructuring. Those are named imports, and it's different than destructuring, according to the ECMAScript module specification. Okay, I'm done talking about it. Export type from. Sure, but I don't want to export multiple things. I only want to export Keasley. I want to export one thing. So I'm done talking about it. I'll fix that later because that has nothing to do with features. I've gotten it working. I got my autocomplete. I'm good to go. This wants user ID to be a number. I think I'm going to handle that in my actual interface. So I'm actually going to parse this as a number like this. And then on the interface, I will set this to be a number. It's feature day. It's feature day. We're working on features. And I mean, for those of you watching, these are the kind of things we work with as a developer. Like this is a feature. I'm looking up the user in the database. I'm doing actual work. I'm presenting that user to the user in the UI. This is a feature of sorts. I'm going to remove that. I'm just showing that as an example. Figuring out imports and exports and such are not features. Those are developer tooling, and we could spend a lot of time working on that stuff, but I don't want to. Okay, what is this saying? Property ID are not compatible type number. It is not assignable to type. Yeah, I could believe you. We're going to do this, though. Type, okay, so execute take first returns, should return a user type. If creating features, why use fresh? Stop trolling, Terawatt. Like, I mean, we're getting it working. Okay. Okay. I think we're running into an issue with how we defined our tables. Because we wanted to use Zod for our validations here, but if you look at generated number, we had to do this craziness to get it to work with the library. But we are saying the return value is user table. Argument of type all selection from DB schema user is not assignable to parameter of type ID display created at. So what it's saying is like this is not giving me back a type user table. Here's the thing though. If I define my user table like this, as just an interface, and I want this. Display name is a string, and then we have created at and updated at, which are of this type. Okay, so we've gone back to just defining a regular plain old interface instead of trying to do it with Zod. And my guess is we should get better typings now because we're doing some weird stuff. So this is purely an interface that has those specific types. And then over here, we get that, and it still runs into an issue. Let's look at the fresh docs, how they were doing it. Yeah, so get some data from somewhere and then call context.render with it. And we specify the data here. I guess what it's telling me is technically I need to, instead of using the user table type, I should be using this all selection type. Like if I put the type as this, I think it'll be happy. And then we add the Keasley import. Single result type of O. Okay, so that didn't fix the issue, but that's really weird to me that like, so basically this return value should be of type user table because the way we set up the DB connection here, user is of type user table. So when we're selecting from it, we should be getting that back. For whatever reason, this all selection type doesn't seem to overlap with user table. You know what it is? It might also be how we defined it. So I said ID should be number, never, never. If we look in the Keasley documentation for how to specify an auto-generated column, really it should actually be generated number, like that. That might be the issue because I was trying to do the column type with all that stuff. Property ID are compatible. Type number is not assignable to type generated number. There's not a to.json, is there? Oh, to.json, their example was actually calling, it was like doing a fetch. Doing a fetch. Oh! No, I am awaiting it. I was like, am I not awaiting it? I'm awaiting it. Property ID is not compatible. Number is not assignable to type generated number. Okay. Generated. Yeah, but that's it seems like it more so would be an issue with Keasley. So the return type from that Keasley method of execute take first technically should overlap with the user table type. Yeah, it should overlap with user table type. And this is saying ID or incompatible, number is not assignable to type generated number. But it should be. It should be like, basically this user that we get back is of type user table. It is. Now, I think that's the point we're at, Veritatas, is this code works. It's just an issue with getting all of the types defined correctly. So I'm going to force it. I'm going to tell it, hey, this is actually a user table. Because it works otherwise. So that's the point we're at. So as unknown as user table. Done. Like, hey, TypeScript, I know better than you. This thing actually is a user table type. Cool. And then we get access to it over here. So if I refresh this, we get that user because they are logged in. And then if I delete their cookie and refresh the page, they're not logged in, so they don't have a user object. Good to go. Now they're logged in. They have a user object. Okay. Now I want cookies. Wouldn't it be easier to go with the main branch and copy the cookie code, deal with dependencies at the end of development? Sure, but we're already this far in. I mean, I think I had already started working on this dependencies file, and we're halfway in. And I think at some point I want to be able to make sure I have all of the latest dependencies, so it's fine. One thing I want to do here is actually like a nested select on the social profile table, because I want a user object back and I want to get back their Discord social profile. So let's do that. We're in Postgres, so we can do a JSON aggregate select. Basically, I want back a user object, and I want a property called social profiles that is every social profile from the social profile table. And I should be able to do that with Postgres. So let's figure that out. Yeah. Postgres nested property JSON aggregate? I don't even know. Like, I've done this with a Postgres query before. I forget what it is. Nested JSON aggregation. And it's not a JSON type. It's selecting from a separate table and then putting it on there as JSON. Take a look at this. Yeah, I know. I know, but I don't want. So here's the thing, and this is the last time I'm going to talk about this dependencies file. If I were to do that, this one file would be exporting like 40 different things because I would have all the individual exports from all of the libraries. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have like all of the individual things from each library exported because then it's harder to figure out where that thing actually came from. I want to export the library. Just don't do as. I want to export the whole library so that in any given file, I'm importing that specific library and then grabbing its specific things. Let's see. Export star from, export star as. Yeah, but this is the same issue, right? Like if I have 20 dependencies in here, now whenever I go to get autocomplete right here, it is literally everything exported by all libraries instead of looking at a specific library, right? That's the thing that I don't want. And then again, I don't want to export individual things. I'm done talking about it. Stop talking about it. We're gonna figure out this SQL query now. Querying nested JSON. Postgres join table as JSON aggregate property. Suppose I have the following tables: content type, data type. The JSON stored in tabs could be like, yeah. Like that's the because that's the other issue though is like, I mean, obviously I'm talking about it again, but again, this isn't feature work. This is like figuring out how to get stuff working in ES modules and TypeScript. That's just a like developer experience. I could, if I wasn't using TypeScript, I wouldn't have to worry about any of that. I would have to know what I needed to import and such, but I wouldn't have to worry about all that stuff. Select JSON aggregate row. Okay, I don't know what the right thing to search for. Postgres join table as nested property. Packages, sender ID, user. Use toJSON to present the query result as a nested JSON. I think this is what I want. And so then I can add a select statement that is raw SQL. So I could import SQL from Keasley. Yeah. Yeah. Dips. So we bring in Keasley. And then now I can do Keasley.SQL template literal some stuff. Oh. Array to JSON, array aggregate. as JSON nested. Yeah, and so I mean, Shark Turnip, like technically, I solved this using kind of like the any type, but I think that is one of my main gripes with TypeScript is that you have a lot of devs that like won't spend the time to find the right type, and now your code is sprinkled with sprinkled with any types everywhere. So we've tried to fix most things. We've fixed most things in the app. Okay, I think we're close there. I know there was a specifically on the Keasley GitHub. Yeah, there was an issue talking about aggregate. Join with alias. Here. db.raw? I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think the API changed. Let's try it though. No. Thanks, Terawatt. Yeah. But yeah, and I think that's why the reason TypeScript types are hard is because they're inside of JavaScript, and JavaScript is very what's the word? Oh, so we pass it a function. That's what I want. This gives us the query builder. And then from here, we return this. Is it because I did select all? Oh, I can do a join, but what the issue with doing a join is you will get back multiple results with several columns, right? I want a single user result with a nested property. That's why I'm not just doing a regular plain old join. Why is this complaining? Okay, and then over here, can I do this without it complaining? Oh, apparently I can. Okay, can I also do select all? I can. Okay, so now the nested query comes from social profile. We get autocomplete, cool. And then this is where we do the where social profile dot user ID is equal to user dot ID, and then we're going to grab that as social profiles, and then Deno format it for me. Format document with Deno. There we go. All right. This is clever. Okay, let's see if this works. If it doesn't, we'll look at that Stack Overflow that Terawatt sent. But basically, we're doing this. We're selecting from this nested table. So basically, it's a subquery that gets all social profiles that have this user ID, and then it's going to put it on the result as a social profiles property. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. Ah, it's so cool. Postgres is awesome. Postgres is a beautiful thing. Like usually you'd have to maybe do like 2 separate queries and then put it all back together with JavaScript. This is sick. This is very sick. Yeah, I mean, first I just copy pasted the code, but mapping one to many, many to many betas with a struct. So SQLDB.select. Yeah, so this is basically what we're doing. This array to JSON thing. Though this handled it with a JSON-B aggregate and a coalesce. I can't pretend to know what that is actually doing. Postgres, JSON-B aggregate, Postgres, coalesce. JSON-B aggregate. Aggregate values including nulls as a JSON array. That's what we want to do. And then what does coalesce mean? Coalesce. The coalesce function returns the first of its arguments that is not null. Null is returned only if all arguments are all null. I see. So this handles if there wasn't a social profile in there, I believe. That's cool. This is an awesome. This little function here is great. We're gonna probably use that quite a bit in some of our other queries. So I'm gonna pull this into like our DB utils. I'm actually just gonna export this right here. And then we can import it in. So import DB and JSON B aggregate from it. I agree. Best piece of code in the whole app right there. So select from the user table, grab all the nested properties. And if you remember when we tried to do this with the ORM, well, with Deno DB, we actually just had to do a separate query and then like write some JavaScript to put it all back together. All of this is happening in the database. It's more performant than trying to do this, get the results back, and then do this all with JavaScript. It's great. It's great. And now we also need another type. Don't mention DenoDB. Now we technically need a type with a social profiles property. I mean, where should I put that? Something like combined tables. How would I even do that though? So this is a Zod object, and then I want to add a property to a Zod object. Is that possible? I definitely could have done it faster with pure SQL. But now that we know how to do it, we'll be using it a lot in our app. Let me see this though. So if I import user table from user table, I think what I can do is something like create a Zod validator that just is of type social profile. Yeah, okay. So I think, did I do? Oh, I put .js, didn't I? Good call. Good call. Should be .ts. So I want an interface which is user table with social profiles, and this extends the type user table like this, and social profiles is of type social profile table array, like that. Oh no, that class name. User table with... I guess I could just call it user with social profiles, not user table. User with social profiles. And then over here, that's the type that we're giving back to the front end. That's a new import UI. I guess, is that new in VS Code? Add import from here. And we don't need user table anymore. Cool. I guess we don't need Keasley in here anymore. User with social profiles table. User with social profiles. Oh, well, no. Like, I'll check it out. What I mean by front end is our template here. So now data is of type user with social profiles. So technically, I think what I want to do is I want to pass down, excuse me, I want to pass down this user to our layout. So say something like user is data. And then on our layout, we'll define the props. So, okay, so it's great. We're checking the cookies. We're setting the user. Now let's actually show the user's icon in the nav bar. And to do that, we're going to pass that user object down to our layout component, which we defined over here. It, in turn, will pass it down to our nav bar component. And so we also get user. And this will be a functional component with layout props. Actually, I want like a general purpose thing because the nav bar and the layout are going to both have the same thing. So I have an interface user props, which just has a user, which is of type user with social profiles, which can be undefined like this. And then we go one level deeper, and actually let me this interface I need in multiple places, so we're gonna pull it over here to schemas. So let's call this like props with user.ts. Props with user. Great. Yeah, VS Code definitely has a new like helper import UI thing. Come on, you know where to find that. Import use props with user from @/schemas/props with user. And one computer guy, thank you for the tier 3. Much appreciated. Yeah, no worries on being late. We've just been. I mean, we're getting things done. We've got the user logged in. We're setting a cookie. Now we're going to show the user in the navbar. So functional component comes from preact. It has props of types props with user, which will give us access to that user. And then now we can render it out. Here we go. So I think I want to put that on the right. So we have our nav. We then have like the name and the icon. I think I'm going to create a div, and then I'll make the nav a flexbox so that it pushes the things apart. And over here, we'll have the user icon if they actually were logged in. So really, we'll only display this if user is a thing. And Joe Mama, it's been a while, been a long while. Glad you're here. So if user is a thing, then we want a little div, and then we'll have a little image. And we can grab the avatar from, and let me close all this stuff that we're not using. We can grab the avatar from social profiles, but Right now, there's nothing on the user that says like preferred social profile or something like that. We might want to add that property. Let's take a quick stretch. We technically, like, we could have a property in the user database that just says what the user last logged in with. And then we use that as to decide what we want to show. So right now we've only logged in with Discord, but eventually we could also log in with Twitch and GitHub, and this social profiles array would have multiple objects inside of it. So yeah, I don't think I'll handle a redirect to a map page. I think what will happen is the home page itself will render a map if you are logged in. And I think we'll handle that next. So we'll get this navbar working that shows the user. And then after that, the home page can now take that into account and say, oh, is there a user? Well, let's actually show a map instead. Yeah, and welcome in Ode, who says, a year ago I started watching your stream and started studying programming. Nice, nice. And Stopney, cheers. Thanks for the hydrate. Okay. We could write a little helper function that like get first available image or something. Like get user, get social profile, and this takes in a user, which is type user with social profiles. And we'll say user.socialprofiles. Can we just do first? Oh, I could do @0. Just grab the first one. We'll make a to-do here, though. Set preferred social profile after login. And then if we do that, that could actually change our DB query. So if we know the user has a preferred social profile, instead of doing this nested aggregate, we could just get the specific social profile that they prefer. But we'll handle that later. For now, just grab the first one in the array, and we'll do this here. So if get social profile with user is a thing, then throw an image where the source is going to be equal to that dot avatar URL. Great. And then the alt text will be, I mean, technically at this point we probably should make this a component, so I don't have to do this. I can like have the component handle that like on mount. Let's just get this working and then we'll refactor this into a separate component. And then the alt tag will be the username, and next to the username will be the user's name. I think right here I'll just do user.displayName. Like that. Why is this complaining? I need a fragment because I have 2 divs. I guess technically I don't want a fragment though. I want an entire div because I want to put these 2 things in this one div and then push that div all the way to the right, which I'll handle next. So refresh. Nice. We have our user icon in the navbar. Let's style it. So we were using, I forget every time that Tailwind components thing, Flowbyte. We were using Flowbyte. And so this, technically, I think you can install Flowbyte separately, and then like they give you stuff, like you can install it. But this also allows us to just like copy and paste some CSS. So right there, this with 10 h10 rounded. If we put this on the image, so class name, and actually we're in Preact, so we only have to do class. Class equals TW. And then we can add those classes there. So that'll give us a nice rounded image, which is good. And how are they doing the placeholder? Oh, it's an SVG. let's use it. Okay, so if there is a social profile, then we'll use that specific image. So let me write it like this way. And again, this will get nicer once we pull it into its own component. So if there was a social profile, show that image. But if there wasn't a social profile, show the default one, like that. Cool. And now let's just demo that. So if I just return undefined by default, then when we load the page, we should see this big old user icon. Is it not taking on width? Huge user. Well, we're not saving the user's emails, so we can't use Gravatar. We could change to saving the user's emails. Oh, I like this better. Let's show their initials. And then right here we could do user.use display name at 0. So that'll give us the first letter in their display name. And why is this complaining? Oh, it doesn't exist on type void. That makes sense too, but that's fine. Cool. There's no background color. It's literally just the W. Oh well. Let's flexbox it. So what I want is this entire nav should be a flexbox with justify content space between. So it'll push the logo to the left and push the other thing to the right. So we want flex justify between. For some reason we weren't getting autocomplete. I'm not going to worry about that. That should put it on the right. Awesome. And then this will now be a flex box. This one, just a default flex. What did I do wrong? There we go. Puts them side by side. Do I need to specify like a width on the avatar to get this? Width 10, height 10, background gray 100. So that's not being set. Oh, I need to pass these into TW. I need to do this. Why TW with backticks? That's just how their example code had it. So if I do TW like that, I guess this will work too. Let's make sure. I like that better. I don't know why they're doing all the backtick stuff. I guess technically, if you wanted to specify other classes that weren't from Twind, then you would do that. But that makes this easier because now I can do TW like that. That. And then here I can do TW like that. Close parentheses, close curly brace. Hey, look at that. That's awesome. Okay, and then on the user's display name, let's give it a little bit of margin. Margin right. 1. And then this flexbox should have a justify center. Align center. I guess that's not a thing. Items center. That's what I want to see. Look at that. And we're going to add a little bit more margin right. We'll add 2. Nice. Gap? What is gap? Is that a Tailwind specific thing? going to go back to margin because that worked. Oh, gap between flex items. I see. Gap has gap for flex / grid. So if I do gap 2, that'll be a gap of 2 between them, and then I don't even need this on there. That's what you're saying. Yeah, I like that. Cool. That's great. And so we've got the little icon, and then if the user actually has a social profile, we show their icon there. Though I do want it to have a gray background with the image on top of it. So what if we wrap both of these in that like this? Now, yeah, it looks like that. That's cool. But then I probably want some padding inside the image. Yeah. It's beautiful. Why don't I make all the text dark? Are you saying it's hard to see white on green? Where did I do? I think I did text white somewhere. Beautiful. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with that. Look at that. We're logged in. We're logged in right now. Text extra large, font semi-bold. Uppercase the initial when there's no avatar? Sure. Sure. I'm trying to figure out where I set the text color to white. Maybe I did that in the layout? Yeah, text white. Text gray? Gray 600. Gray. Is that more readable? Readable? Then you can't see it on this, though. I like it white. I don't know. What we need to do, though, is we need to make this a little... we need to make this a button, so that way the user can log out. So let's do that. I kind of want like a drop-down. Like a drop-down button. Yeah, something like this. And then that drop-down button will have logout inside of it. And later on, we can add other stuff. Or do I just literally put a logout button? No, we're going to make it a drop-down. We're going to make it a drop-down. And yeah, I'll leave focus mode because you all have good suggestions. I should be reading chat every now and then, anyways. Let's see what we get with this. I mean, yeah, I meant a logout button. Yeah. Now Oscar redeems focus mode. No, take it back. Take it back. Cool. We got a nice little divvy div. And then let's see how this is working. Text white, etc., etc., etc. Jeez, this is what you get with Tailwind. Now it's a meme. Everyone is Isn't this hilarious though? This whole thing here. Look at all those focus modes. I'm giving you your points back. I'm not taking your points. And then this is the drop down that gets displayed. And then we want to put, just a second. Inline fold. I mean, I kind of want to set up a linter for all of this. This is now displayed instead of drop-down button, like that. And then this whole thing needs to be the actual div. This div. We'll get there. Boom. If I run Deno format, let's see what it does. Task lint and format. Yeah, so that did some new lines here, which is nice. But now this needs to be a function invocation like that. It's got the drop down, and then the SVG, which is like the little arrow down, and then this is the actual menu. Like that. And then we got a bunch of list items. In this case, we only want one list item, which will be logout. And that's going to go to /logout. We'll create a page that specifically removes the user's cookie. All right, let's see what we get. How much have we messed it up? A lot, apparently. And then when you click the button, we should see the thing. All right, what is inline fold? Ship it. Oh. No, I'm not gonna make Tailwind look nicer. I want people to see what Tailwind looks like. No, this is what you get when you use Tailwind. Don't try to hide it. Why is this button so big? Let's see what they. Oh, because the SVG fills the container, right? I think is that the issue? Do we need to give this like a specified height? I'm not talking crap about... Look, I don't have to talk crap about Tailwind. I just have to show Tailwind. I'm not talking crap. I'm just showing you. That's all. I think I want to specify maybe a height on this. I mean, I was being mean about it because I was like, I don't gotta talk crap about it because it's crap when you look at it. No, but that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. Okay. For some reason, okay, this is what I want to see. Okay, because I want like height. Backticks plus multi-line. Oh yeah, that should work because at the end of the day, as long as there's spacing between the class names, it's going to be able to figure out what to do. So I could technically have all of the Tailwind classes listed vertically. All right, Tailwind people, help me out. What's a height class that I can use? Tailwind cheat sheet. Oh, H. And what if I want, like, yeah, I want a pixel size. What happens if I do this? Height 48. Maybe I want that height on the SVG. Because this is a button. And then it's got this big old SVG. Oh, this is the issue. Yeah, it's supposed to be height 4, width 4, but I missed this when I was converting to Tailwind, to the Twind. Yeah, you love to see it. Okay. So that's great. But now we lost our spacing for some reason. Oh, because we need, the button kind of needs to be a flex container as well. Sick. Okay. We got ourselves a nice little button. This, however, is not automatically working. So the div with ID dropdown. Oh, do I have to handle it with JavaScript? Because the class is hidden. And then I need to unhide it like with JavaScript. Ew. Okay. Do it on focus, but then how would I do that with Tailwind? On focus. Use menu? Interesting. The issue, though, is I need to make this an island. This is the point where we should extract this into a component anyways. But if I want JavaScript, if I want like on enter add class, that kind of thing, I need to make this an island because right now it's completely server rendered. So if you look at the source of this page, it literally inserts divs, right? There's no JavaScript on the rendered page. That's one of the things you get with Fresh. Completely server rendered when the page loads. But if I want JavaScript right here, I need that to be an island. So I'll do that next. A state for is open, wrap the class in an inline condition. But yeah, but I need JavaScript for that, right? Right? If I did it with CSS, on hover, so it's hidden, and then on hover of the parent, change the CSS class for that one. I don't know. Regardless, let's pull this into a component. So this whole thing right here, this piece. This is going to be the user avatar button. Like that. And then over here in islands, I'll add a file for user avatar button.tsx. And then it will export default const user avatar button. I'll figure that out in a second, but this needs to specifically return all that good stuff. Can you not export default on the same line? User avatar button. Great. It's going to take in props with user. Now this is going to be a functional component of type props with user. Great. And then we need to copy what we did with our other islands and make sure we're doing all this import stuff here. Like this. I need all of that accessible in here. And we'll use state in a second. Where was I using fragment in here? Oh, that's if I wanted to export a fragment. I don't think I need it. That is not what I wanted either. I want to import functional component from preact. Or function component. Okay, let's run that. It's nice and organized, and then now I need to move that get social profile function into here. Pull this in from @schemas, and then we need to import that as well. Don't need that over here anymore. All right, we're on our way. So if the user was defined, do this, and then this should be complaining because I'm not passing the user. Oh, no, first of all, import it from islands. Good to go. Let's take a quick stretch. And now, I guess it's not complaining about user, but, oh, because it says, oh, because user can be undefined. That makes sense. So pass the user in, which actually means, well, no. We'll pass the user in, and should be good to go. User is possibly undefined. True. So if not user, return nothing. I mean, return null? Yeah. So if there wasn't a user, don't do this. Okay. At this point, all we've done is refactored that button into a component. Let's see if it still loads. And basically, I think what happened in Monkey Fuel. Thank you for the prime. But what should happen is, because this is in the islands folder, it should know that I actually want to use JavaScript. Let's see if it still loads. Yeah, so it's still there, but now we can use JavaScript. Also, we could do something like this. User with social, well, let's say like the social profile is get social profile with the user. So now everywhere I had get social profile, I can just do social profile. Not quite though. Everywhere I had get social profile user, I can just do social profile like that. But now this is get social profile with user. Cool. So all of this code down here is just referencing social profile like that. So social profile, and then grabs the avatar, the username. Cool. But now, when we click the button, we need to have a hidden or not hidden state. So we have our state variable. In our component here, I will have show dropdown in Juicebox. Thank you very much for the gifted sub. So show dropdown, set show dropdown. I'm using Visual Studio Code. Exclamation mark editor should give you a link to it. So by default, show dropdown is false. And then we can add like an inline ternary to our little dropdown here. So this is where we do want a template literal. Because I can say nested inside of here, if show dropdown, then nothing, otherwise hidden. Cool. And then whenever I click the button, we'll toggle set dropdown. So on click, we'll say set show dropdown with the current value and then flip it. So grab the opposite of what it is. Awesome. So this should do it. So refresh the page, click it, boom, click it again. Yeah, that's cool. But then we want something like click outside, because when you click outside, I technically want to stop it. And then also that thing should can we hide? Oh, the little, yeah, we could, that little, I mean, I spent a while trying to get that even working. But, yeah, if we set this thing to position absolute, will that fix it? Yeah. Nice one. However, it adds scroll to the page, which I don't like. Like, I kind of want to position it a little bit over to the left a little bit more. Z10, so that's the Z index. This extension is cool, by the way. It's telling me what these tailwind classes are doing. Give me width. And I guess technically, can I do something like right 1? Yeah, look at that. Huh. Fantastic. Really, I mean, I probably want to do like 4. Yeah, that's almost there. And then margin top of 0.5. Margin top of 1. I want it to be like slightly separated. Margin top of 2. Yeah, that seems fine to me. Yeah, and then we can, I mean, can we transform this path here? So if show dropdown is true, then we want a CSS transform that flips this thing. Let's do a style, like an inline style. So transform is if show dropdown, flip it, otherwise no transform. How do we flip it? Rotate 180 degrees or 90 degrees, 180 degrees. Hey, look at me. Can we test the button fully invisible to see how it would look? Oh, you mean, well, like get rid of the background color on the button? Let's see. I'm not opposed to it. We can get rid of the hover color as well. Oh, there's a rotate class in Tailwind? That would make sense. Then I shouldn't have to do that inline style. All right, let's try it. If show dropdown, then rotate 180. Cool. That works. Yeah, how do you all feel about this? So right now, that little chevron probably tells you that you can click it. How do you all feel without the background color? Ooh, look look at that, buddy. He spins. And I guess I actually want... This should always be on there, so that way it will animate the other way too. The color was background blue. Let's go grab it from here. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. So, what does ring do? Let's not do it on focus. Let's always have it. Cool. Ring, I don't think we want. It looks great, says Limos. And we can change that blue color. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that, Shubi. I've done some co-working streams before. I think right now we're at a point where it's not that stressful. We're doing some pretty basic stuff, but the stream can get stressful if like people in the chat don't agree with what I'm doing and like I'm trying to fix bugs and stuff like that. Idea was to hide that it's actually a button. What do you mean by that? What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we had a color scheme somewhere. I think it's in the README. Here. This was our color palette. So, what if I use this raisin black as the outline? Coolers. Ring blue 300. Ring dark black-ish. Well, that didn't work. I also want that as the outline. Coolers? Coolers. Is there an outline on here? So rounded, text, inline. This is setting the theme for dark. We'll get rid of that. When it's okay, here we go. Well, I think we already handled that. So when it's focused, set it. Okay. Is there like primary, secondary color and tone? Oh, I think there is. We never set up the theme. But we'll set that up eventually so that, yeah, I could do like primary or secondary color. So when we focus, have the outline, and then remove the outline if not. Also, we need a click outside, because if I click outside, I technically want to close the dropdown. There's a hook for that. I mean, but we can write it ourselves. Let's make a little click outside. So when this component mounts, we're going to add an event listener. Document.add event listener, click outside. We're going to define that function. And then from this use effect, we're going to return a function that removes that event listener. Document.remove event listener, click outside. And then we have our click outside, which is a little thing that grabs the event. This does not like what I'm doing here. Oh, I mean, I guess I haven't defined it yet. Document event map. Oh, I specifically want the click event. Like if the button is not focused, don't show the dropdown. Yeah, because I guess technically when I click outside of it, that it loses focus. True. The other way to handle it is like detect a click somewhere else in the document, and then if the click target was not the button, then close it. But I like the idea of keeping track of whether or not that has focus. So if we add a ref for this button, so button ref is use ref with initial value of null, and then we will have a use effect. And if button ref.current is a thing, focus. Data dropdown, toggle dropdown. Yeah, that's what we were doing, but I think they want us to add JavaScript to the page. Yeah, you have to include Flowbytes JavaScript, which we're not going to do that. HTML button element. Add an event listener. So will this focus listener, is there a way to add an event listener for when it receives and loses focus? Focused, like that. All right, and then technically I need to remove that event listener in the down here. Oh, so I need both focus and then blur? Okay. Blur event, okay. Really, I just need blur. I need blur then, because if blur is when it's no longer the thing. This will set show dropdown to false. All right, this is the winner. Nice. Look at that on blur. Remove it. Okay. Try it with tab. So I guess technically now on focus, we should set it to open. That's the accessible thing to do. So, true. Let's take Take a quick stretch. We're writing accessible applications, and then we'll need to handle the arrow key so somebody can click down to the logout button. We probably should be using a component library at this point. Focus listener, and then same thing here. All right, now check this out. So now I can tab. Yeah, look at that. So when I tab over to the button, great. And then now if I press the arrow down, I actually want to make that this selected. I can do all of that using only focus? I guess so, but I need to, so the issue is like these are two separate elements, and this element needs to have visible when the other element is focused. Yeah, it's not on hover, it's on focus. And so that's probably possible with CSS. I mean, we would still need to handle like arrow keys. So if I'm pressing like up, down, technically I need to select logout here. Oh. This is an issue though. Watch me click it. It goes away instantly. Let's see why. Blurred. Focused. They're at the same level. They're not nested. Okay, when I click it, it says focused, which means set show drop down to true. I think that means I can get rid of the click handler on the button now, though, doesn't it? Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I don't need this click handler on the button anymore because I'm listening for when the button is focused. I need to check if focus is in the menu too before closing it. Sure. Yeah. The blur event is going to make the menu disappear. No, that's fine though, because when I click this, it's going to go, I want it to go to the logout page. Right? Twitch doesn't even work with the down arrows? Well, it should. I'm not going to handle down arrow right now, but just know that is an accessibility issue. Because, like, let's say a blind person is using this website and they want to log out. They're going to press tab. That'll get them to this button. And then, I guess technically the screen reader would tell them what buttons are on the screen. And then they could say, click that button. Maybe? I don't know how screen readers work. You can't log out. Easy for us. All right. Arrow keys will change focus to logout, which will fire blur. Yeah, so technically I think I need a ref to both. Or when the blur event happens, I can check to see if the element that now has focus. Like, what do we get? What's the type of this event? We'll make the theme more consistent eventually. I mean, the thing is, I have to go very soon. I have to go in about 10 minutes, so... let's get this button working. We're going to create a logout page. You do focus within. I think technically we could make this little drop down inside the button, but it kind of needs to be outside. There's the alarm. That's our 10-minute warning. We have to effectively use the next 10 minutes. I want to at least be able to log out, so I need to get that working. The issue right now is when I click it, it's unfocusing the main button, so then the click doesn't even get registered on the dropdown. How do I handle that? Give me ideas, everyone, and don't say CSS because we have already we're already down the path of using JavaScript. So how can I handle this with JavaScript? When I click the child element, yeah, and so I think this is like state. Yeah, with state. Well, I guess. Okay, I see what you're saying. When I click tab, profile, tab, logout. Okay. Oh, I guess technically if I have a click handler on logout, I can prevent the default action. Or stop, I can stop. Well, no, the default action wouldn't prevent because technically the focus is still lost on the other button. Let's just try this really quick. Like if I do an on click, hit E, E dot prevent default. Also, I mean, yeah, I don't think this will work though. Yeah, and also stop propagation. Will not work because it's the click isn't propagating. It's the fact that the parent is losing focus. Yeah. Wrap everything in a div and set the blur event on that. I like that idea. So technically, instead of putting the ref on the button, let's put it on the entire div. Cool. Seems to work. Or does it? So I click here, I click out of it, it unfocuses. I click here, it's not showing the dropdown, and it's not showing the dropdown because I'm stopping the propagation, which I don't want to do anymore. That's why. So click here, or not. Let's make sure that this is actually happening. Focused. Blurred. Neither of those are getting called. Restart Deno. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but I can. I mean, at this point I have 7 minutes, so time's ticking. Is there a target register on the blur event that you then match the stop? Look, it works now. These two functions are not getting called. Why? Oh, I mean, that's just a TypeScript thing. That'll get stripped away anyways. HTML div anymore. But that's a good point. But it should have the same behavior. I got rid of the stop propagation, so that's not here anymore on the logout button. Yeah, there's no prevent default in this file. Is it possible to have a focus event on a div? Because really, it's like the child focus, isn't it? The parent isn't focused. I think that's the issue. One of the children is focused, not the child. So if I say tab index equals 1, Do I have tab index anywhere in here? No. Do I want this to be a number? Like that? Okay. Div focus is possible. So yeah, I want to focus the parent, not the child. What is the event for that? Is this a situation where I would stop propagation? Well, no, it should propagate up. So I guess, I mean, do I need a click handler here? Why focus and not hover? Because I want them to click it. And MK Trents, thank you for that prime. I want the user to click this. But the issue right now, as it stands, is the blur and focus events are not getting called for the parent div. They only get called for the button. So yeah, JavaScript focus event does not bubble to parent. Focus event does not bubble up to the parent. Sure. Oh, okay, yeah. So Vidith has been saying it over and over again. I don't want focus. I want focus in. Focus in. Focus out. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you, Vidith. I was like, you said it multiple times. I was like, do they know what they're talking about? That's the one. Okay, cool. At this point, I'm just going to go create a logout page, and then I have to go. So, Vidith, yeah, Vidith is the winner. Thank you, Vidith. Scream it louder next time, Vidith. Okay, so in our routes, I'm just going to add a page called logout. And this is going to be as simple, I guess, as the not found page. I guess really, this one's super simple. This one is just a redirect. Yeah, no worries, Vita. I appreciate you. I need to go to the fresh docs. It's possible to have a page that literally just does a redirect. Oh, we've done that before. That's going to be over here in here. This is what we want. We literally just want a really simple page that just does the redirect. And then this redirects to config.base URL. Cool. So this has the request. And we need to grab the cookie from the request. So request.headers.get cookie. Get the cookie. And then we need to set a cookie that clears this specific cookie. Timing is rough. We'll finish this and then we'll raid and get out of here. But at this point, I do want to return a little... It's time. I need to return a little objecty like this boy. This boy here. Or girl. This response object. But now set cookie I want to set this specific cookie value to nothing, because this should give me let's see what we get here. Let's see what we get. So when we try to go to the logout page, I have no idea where this is being logged. Oh, I think user ID is still being logged on the index page. Right here. Oh, it's in the middleware. Let's get rid of that. Okay, but if I go to /logout, oh, here it is. ID equals. Okay, so there's got to be a way to clear a cookie. I was thinking I just needed to overwrite it with the empty value, but yeah, so there's like delete cookie, and then can I pass? Yeah, so I can pass the response object in there and say delete. And then I just want to delete the ID cookie. So this comes in from the standard library. Do we already have that import? Let's look in our deps. Cookie. We do. Let's use it. Do we still have cookie in the import map? Let's get middleware, index, logout, callback. Yeah, I think we can remove this from our import map. Yeah, so we'll get rid of cookie here. And then now in this logout, we'll import cookie from our dependencies. And then I want to do cookie.delete cookie. With the response. And I want to delete ID. Oh, were we? I think we were importing cookie over here. We need to delete that. Were we ever calling setCookie? No, we weren't. I need to. That's the issue. I need to delete this. Okay. And then now logout has cookie dot it's a string. Why is cookie a string? Let me double check the export. So export star as cookie from here. So we don't need these anymore either. I can update that in my import map as well. We don't need these. Put res in quotes. Good call. But for whatever reason, this import. Oh, I see. Good call. Good call. Good call, everyone. So delete cookie just returns void. You pass in the headers. Set the cookie header with empty value in the headers to delete. Okay. And so now we can pass in response, because that'll delete it. Response.headers. Cool. And then return that response. So that should delete the ID cookie. Well, I think this will create a set cookie header that sets ID to the empty value. That's the winner. Okay, here we go. This works. We go to log out. Boom, we don't see the thing anymore. And if you look in storage, the cookie is no longer there. Awesome. So cookie's gone. We can log in. We have a cookie. Look at that cookie. And then I can log out, and the cookie is gone. Amazing. Amazing. We've done it. I'm going to remove those console logs that we had, but otherwise, good stuff. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now update the dependencies. Hey, I think we're at a good spot, though. I'm going to commit this. I'll push it up. We got some work done today, all right? We're setting cookies. We're removing cookies. We styled this little button here. Look at this. We can click outside of it. We got some work done today. I'm proud of us. Good job, everybody. Let me commit this. And I'll update my to-do list as well. So today we set up the cookie session, and we have a navbar with user state. Styled. Hey, we'll get there. I will say your messages look weird to me now, Mark, because you changed your user icon. But I'll get used to it. All right, so that was day 7. The next stream is planned for the 9th of September. And honestly, I might update dependencies when I'm not streaming, because I don't want to spend time on stream doing all of that. But next time, we'll have a logged in user profile page. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Oh, it's a 3D rendered thing? That's pretty cool. What's up, Murdoch? Thanks for being here. All right, that's it. Sparkles. Look at all these changed files. Set cookie, update navbar. From what you've read in the past, you can delete the cookie by setting expires to 1970 or max age to 0. That makes sense. This delete cookie is from the standard library, and it's probably doing one of those two things right here. We can see if we look in the network requests. Is my app still running? It's not. But let's take a look in the network tab. So if I go to network, persist logs, we'll do, well, now we'll persist the log. So we can see what happens when I go to logout. Boom. And then logout, we can look at the response headers. Yeah, so that's what they're doing. Yeah, good call, American 2050. They're literally setting the ID cookie to expire back in 1970. And that the browser sees that and then removes the cookie from the cookie store, from the cookie jar. Cool. Oh, and you know what? Because I just pushed up to GitHub, this should be up to date. Though I need to update the redirect here. Cookie appears in the year 1970. Oh no! So this redirect back to localhost 8000, but I could update my Discord app so that it works in production. Let me do that. Oh yeah, that's when Epoch started. January 1st, 1970. I know I'm over time, but like it was a self-imposed overtime. I'm done. This is the last thing. I want to get it working so you all can log in on the deployed website. Oh, and then you found the actual cookie code that sets it to 1970. Line 208. There it is. New date with 0. Great. Thank you, homie coder. Appreciate you. Settings. Base URL. Will this work? No, it's always redirecting back to localhost 8000. I might have the base URL set wrong. And Mr. and Mrs. Llama, thanks for that Prime sub. Yeah, so the configuration is in Deno grant. Let me just look at my code really quick, because when we do the redirect with Deno grant, we get the authorization URL, but when we set up Deno grant, are we using the base URL from the config? We are not. We hard-coded it. So let me fix that. This base URI should be config.baseURL. That's what also needed to be fixed. So update Deno grant config. Go. This is Deno land, by the way. We can see 1 second ago it got deployed, and so now. If I go here and I log in with Discord, invalid OAuth 2 redirect URI. I think I have an extra trailing slash on there. Yeah, there's //. So in my settings here, I need to update that base URL to not have a trailing slash. Base URL. https / fresh spots.deno.dev. Is that the URL? It is. Okay. Save that. Moment of truth. Yes! Yes! Okay, cool. And so we're on the deployed site. And then now, why is it taking so long to load? Oh, because everybody's trying to log in right now? Is that what's happening? There we go. And I can log out. Yeah. And so, I mean, if you don't mind, Oscar, can I show my database on Railway? Because we can see all the users in the database. No, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, when you click authorize on that OAuth flow, you're only offering up your public Discord information. I am not saving your email to the database or anything like that. Oh, look! Oh, we have several users. I think you have to give the site a second before the dropdown works. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done any testing in any other browser. Everyone that's logged in so far, are you okay with me showing your Discord username? Because it's kind of fun to show the fact that all of this is in here. Dropdown not working? Come on. All right, I'm going to show it. Yeah. I mean, and if anything, like, it's not even revealing anything because it's not even tying your it's not tying your username to your Twitch name. You're going to hear from your lawyers. So we can see all of the people that have logged in so far. This is their Discord username. And then we have our social profile table, and then this is the specific social profile information. So it links back to that specific user ID. And like it has that avatar URL, so that's cool. Oh wow, that updated in real time. Wow, Railway is freaking cool. This is where our database is at. All right. The drop down. Oh, I see. Clicking. Well, drop down seems to work. Wow. Okay, I have to go. It might be yeah. So I'll have to. If you all remind me next time, I'll have to debug in probably Chrome, and just to see what the issue might be there. But we made progress today. We have actual features, so that's good. If you want to take a look at this code, it's over here on GitHub at Fresh Spots. Check it out there. All of the past episodes, if you're interested in watching, are on YouTube on this playlist. So if you click that, you can see all of the past episodes. This one will be uploaded Sunday on the archive channel. So check out YouTube. I have my main channel, and then we have the archive channel. If you're interested in TypeScript and React with TypeScript, I just released a video today called Setting Up Vite with React, TypeScript, ESLint, VTest, Testing Library, and React Router, and Prettier, and the ESLint Airbnb config. This is an hour-long video where I configure a React app, and specifically I configure ESLint to work with Prettier and the Airbnb config. Because that's a bit tricky to get set up, so you can see me get that going. So check out that video if that interests you. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks for being here. If you want to, you can join our Discord. We hang out in there. I also have a Twitter if you want to follow. I tweet when I go live. And I also have a mailing list. I send out a weekly challenge every Monday, and I also let you know what's going to go on in the week. You can check out my streaming schedule there, cdg.sh/calendar. Yeah, thank you, the She-Boss. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Alka. I mentioned that earlier. Another thing, and more self-promo. If you want to see my musical project, it's called Probably Happening. We stream almost every Monday and Thursday. But we just do improvised live looping for like chill-ish kind of music, so you can check that out. All right, you all are great. Let's go on a raid. If you are a sub, you can use this raid message. If you're not a sub, you can use this raid message. You also can come up with your own raid message, and I appreciate that, Limeoats. The music has been pretty chill lately. Oh, and I busted out my saxophone too. I played saxophone in high school. I stopped playing in, I think, the 10th grade. But we were jamming the other day and I busted out my saxophone, so you can see that. Okay, let's go on a raid. I don't know who we're going to raid, but whoever we raid, show them lots of love. Drop a follow if you like what they're doing. Have a great weekend. Stay awesome. And yeah, and I do Melinda Beans, so the music stuff happens on Twitch. It's on that separate channel, though. Okay, see ya.